don't answer the phone until you hear our first story. It's about one of the most despicable scams we've come across recently, a money-making scheme built on the most vulnerable members of our families, sick children and senior citizens.
Tonight, you'll hear exclusive phone tapes of these accused outlaws doing their dirty work. And watch as we confront them where they're hiding out. They can run, but they cannot hide, from our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross.
My wish is to be a ballerina.
My wish was to see the monarch butterflies.
Now in its 30th year, few charities in the country are as widely respected or trusted as the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Thank you for giving me my wish to be a ballerina.
And it was the charity's very reputation for integrity that helped convince Patricia Bowles of Northern Virginia that she really had won a Make-A-Wish sweepstakes.
Clearly, the first thing you hear when you get a call from Make-A-Wish Foundation, you'd like to think it was real.
Then there was a follow-up call from a government agent with the Treasury Department who had her check.
She said, Mrs. Bowles, we've been trying to reach you. Very, very warm, very kind. There is money here for you.
And to prove it beyond any doubt, the Treasury agent told her she could call the Federal Trade Commission in Washington to verify her winnings, and she did.
You have reached the General voicemail of the Federal Trade Commission.
When the government people called back, the caller ID showed the Washington, D.C. area code 202.
And they were professional sounding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, golly, I can't even begin to tell you. Brilliant.
But somehow the check never seemed to arrive.
You said there is a check.
There was a check for $1.1 million that Gary's picked up. We sent that back to the Federal Trade Commission.
But the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC in Washington, does not help distribute sweepstakes checks.
We do not handle sweepstakes checks. We do exactly the opposite. We go after people who are ripping off consumers.
Nor does the Make-A-Wish Foundation, headquartered in Phoenix, have a $1 million sweepstakes.
We don't call people up and tell them they've won prizes. That's not what we do. We grant wishes to children who have life-threatening medical conditions, period.
Patricia Bowles, a successful businesswoman, knows all that now, but only after sending away most of her life savings of $300,000. After she and many, many others were told on the phone by the supposed government agents they had to pay taxes and fees in advance to collect their sweepstakes winnings.
The IRS basically wants their money up front, and that's the way they are, man.
This is one of the scammers on the phone in a tape obtained by 2020, being heard tonight for the first time.
Credit cards are for an emergency. This would be considered as a very important emergency. You're going to be able to pay that back as soon as you get your money. And even if you were charged the interest, who cares with all the money that you're getting? I mean, it's close to $1 million.
Law enforcement authorities say the scammers have stolen more than $20 million, a sophisticated network of criminals using the latest internet phone technology to pass themselves off as calling from various agencies of the federal government. Their internet phones programmed to generate a caller ID from the Washington area code 202.
And you were convinced she was with the Treasury Department?
Yes, sir. I truly, truly was convinced.
Some victims have actually shown up in Washington, including at the headquarters of the Federal Trade Commission, to collect their sweepstakes checks in person from supposed FTC agents.
Stephen Page.
Does not work here.
Peter Higgins.
Also does not work here.
Fred Montgomery.
Does not work here.
Not FTC agents.
Not FTC agents at all.
The chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, John Leibowitz, says his real agents are now working to shut down the scams, but that they are so believable, even his own mother almost fell for one.
She called me up, she goes, John, I won this sweepstakes, and I'm just wondering if it's possible that this could be not legitimate. And I was like, Mom, I think it probably is a scam.
Despite what they said, the criminals who called the FTC chairman's mother and many other Americans were nowhere near Washington. Our 2020 investigation tracked them thousands of miles away, beyond the American border to Central America and the country of Costa Rica. One of the ugliest scams to target Americans in years is located in a place of great natural beauty.
They set up shop in Costa Rica. They realized this isn't bad.
In addition to its natural beauty, Costa Rica has all the trappings of America and easy connections to the internet, an essential ingredient of the scam, according to Postal Inspector Joe Gonzalez.
Can function just as if they were in the U.S. or Canada.
More than 20 criminal call centers are now believed to be operating in Costa Rica. One of them, since shut down, ran out of this luxury home overlooking a coffee plantation. It was from here that the scammers called, pretending to be in Washington, D.C.
This is Washington, D.C. This is the Department of Commerce.
Inside the illegal call centers, federal agents found a slew of internet phones and thousands of leads for the next victims, people who had responded to mailed sweepstakes coupons, particularly those with shaky handwriting, an indication of an older, more vulnerable target.
That's a valuable lead.
That is a very valuable lead.
Listen to me, sweetheart. Listen to me. I am not here to lie to you. I'm not scamming you. Get this done, sweetheart. Get this done.
The operations also kept detailed records on every target, including warnings about relatives who might intervene to keep the victims from sending more cash.
Watch out for his son.
Watch out for his son. Exactly.
The scammers had no shame, pretending to be Christian family men.
Look, as a family man and a Christian man, I'm not going to have you do anything that, if there was something that can go wrong with this, ma'am, I tell you, hold on for a minute. But there's absolutely nothing that's going to go wrong with this.
We've never seen something so despicable. Willingly destroying people's lives by taking every nickel they can suck out of them.
And authorities say there are new victims every day, as the Americans accused of being part of the scam continue to live a life of luxury in Costa Rica, a place where at least one of them thought he was safe until we found him and he tried to run away.
Usted no se meta aquí ni me venga a hacer más. Gringo, go home.